Cabinet shakeup. Freeland resigns, Fraser steps down as immigration and housing crises roil Trudeau's government. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're covering a major shakeup in Prime Minister Trudeau's government. Two key ministers, Chrystia Freeland and Sean Fraser, have exited their roles at a time when the country faces growing challenges in housing, immigration, and economic stability. What's driving these resignations, and what does it mean for Canadians? And with the government's fiscal economic statement now released, what critical updates on spending, defense, and housing should you know? Stay tuned as we unpack the political drama, the policy impacts, and what all of this could mean for you. If you're looking for clear, accurate insights into Canada's political and economic future, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed. Let's get started. A government under pressure. Canada's Liberal government, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is no stranger to political storms. However, recent developments have thrown it into an unprecedented period of turbulence. Two high-profile cabinet ministers, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Infrastructure and Housing Minister Sean Fraser, have announced their exits. This comes at a time when the Trudeau government is grappling with rising criticism over its immigration policies, a worsening housing crisis, and growing fiscal challenges. The timing of these resignations has sparked intense speculation. Freeland's decision to step down, coming moments before delivering a critical fiscal economic statement, was unexpected. Similarly, Fraser's decision not to seek re-election amid mounting housing affordability issues has added fuel to the fire. The exits have left significant gaps in key portfolios, raising concerns about the government's ability to address the challenges ahead. A fiscal dilemma. Freeland's departure raises questions. Chrystia Freeland's tenure as finance minister was marked by her steadfast commitment to fiscal responsibility. Earlier in 2023, Freeland promised that the federal deficit would not exceed $40 billion. Yet, rising economic pressures, from defense spending commitments to costly social programs, have made this target increasingly unrealistic. The Trudeau government has faced mounting calls to ramp up defense spending, particularly as U.S. pressure grows for Canada to meet NATO commitments. Reports suggest billions of dollars will be allocated to border security, drones, and military upgrades. Compounding these pressures, the New Democratic Party, NDP, has demanded funding for expansive social programs, including a national dental care plan and the ongoing GST holiday, which have strained government coffers. Freeland's resignation may signal frustration with these competing demands. Breaking her promise of fiscal restraint would have undermined her credibility. By stepping down, she avoids being the face of a government struggling to keep its fiscal promises. Sean Fraser and the housing crisis. Sean Fraser, who previously served as immigration minister before taking on the housing portfolio, has been at the forefront of two of Canada's most contentious issues, immigration and housing. During his tenure as immigration minister, Fraser championed Canada's ambitious immigration targets, which aim to welcome 500,000 newcomers annually by 2025. While these targets were applauded for addressing labor shortages, they have also been blamed for exacerbating the housing affordability crisis. As housing minister, Fraser faced the fallout of these policies. Canada's population growth, driven largely by immigration, has outpaced the construction of affordable housing. Major cities like Toronto and Vancouver have seen skyrocketing rents and home prices, pushing many Canadians out of the housing market. Despite federal funding initiatives and new housing policies, progress has been slow, leading to widespread criticism. Fraser's decision not to seek re-election suggests that the pressures of addressing this complex crisis have taken a toll. His exit leaves a vacuum in a ministry critical to resolving Canada's housing woes. Immigration targets and the housing crunch. Canada's immigration policies have long been a point of pride, positioning the country as a global leader in welcoming newcomers. However, the record-high immigration targets have come under scrutiny for their impact on housing and infrastructure. With 431,645 new permanent residents admitted in 2022 and even higher numbers projected for 2024 and beyond, the strain on urban centers has intensified. Critics argue that while immigration addresses labor market needs, it has outpaced the government's ability to provide affordable housing, healthcare, and social services. The federal government recently announced a reduction in immigration targets for 2025, lowering the planned intake from 500,000 to 395,000. This shift aims to balance population growth with infrastructure capacity. However, critics warn that this reactive approach may not be enough to alleviate the housing crisis or restore public confidence. A growing public backlash. Public sentiment around immigration and housing has shifted significantly in recent years. Polls indicate that an increasing number of Canadians believe the country's immigration levels are too high. This perception is fueled by rising living costs, overcrowded cities, and strained public services. These concerns have become a political liability for the Trudeau government. Opposition parties have seized on the issue, framing it as evidence of Liberal mismanagement. The Conservatives, in particular, have called for a more measured approach to immigration, linking it directly to the housing crisis. The government's reliance on immigration to drive economic growth has also faced criticism. While newcomers contribute to the labor force, they also increase demand for housing, healthcare, and education. Addressing these competing priorities has proven challenging, leaving many Canadians skeptical of the government's ability to manage the situation effectively. The Fiscal Economic Statement. A snapshot of Canada's economic challenges. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Let's dive into the Fiscal Economic Statement and its implications. The Fiscal Economic Statement, typically presented by the Finance Minister, is a critical update on the government's economic priorities. Chrystia Freeland's resignation left uncertainty about who would deliver this year's statement, but the government has proceeded with its release. Key highlights include: 1. Rising deficit. The government has acknowledged that the deficit will exceed $40 billion, with estimates suggesting it could grow by $4 billion to $10 billion more. 2. Defense spending. Increased investments in military equipment and border security are projected to cost billions. These measures aim to address U.S. demands for stronger border controls and enhanced NATO contributions. 3. Social program funding. The government has allocated significant resources to social programs, including a national dental care plan and the GST holiday. While popular, these initiatives have added to fiscal pressures. 4. Housing investments. New funding for affordable housing construction and rental subsidies aims to address the housing crisis. However, experts warn that these measures may fall short without additional policy changes. The statement reflects a government under pressure to balance competing priorities, from international commitments to domestic social needs. Freeland's departure raises questions about the government's ability to maintain fiscal discipline while addressing these challenges. The role of the NDP in shaping policy. The Trudeau government's minority status has made it reliant on support from the NDP to pass key legislation. This partnership has come at a cost, with the Liberals agreeing to fund several NDP-backed initiatives. Programs like the National Dental Care Plan have been celebrated as milestones in Canadian social policy. However, their implementation has added billions to federal spending, contributing to the growing deficit. The NDP has also pushed for more aggressive action on housing, including expanded rent controls and funding for co-op housing projects. While these policies align with the NDP's priorities, they have placed additional strain on the government's fiscal resources. This dynamic has further complicated the Trudeau government's ability to address the immigration and housing crises effectively. Solutions on the horizon? Despite the challenges, there are potential solutions that could help the Trudeau government regain public confidence and address the issues at hand. Key strategies include: 1. Revising immigration policies. A more balanced approach to immigration targets could alleviate pressure on housing and infrastructure. By focusing on skilled workers and regional dispersion, the government can better address labor market needs while avoiding overcrowding in major cities. 2. Accelerating housing construction. Increased federal funding for affordable housing projects, coupled with streamlined permitting processes, could help boost supply. Collaboration with provinces and municipalities will be critical to achieving meaningful results. 3. Fiscal responsibility. Implementing targeted spending cuts and prioritizing essential programs can help reduce the deficit. Transparent communication about the government's fiscal strategy will be key to restoring public trust. 4. Strengthening public services. Investments in healthcare, education, and infrastructure are essential to ensuring that population growth is sustainable. These measures can also address concerns about the strain on public services. 5. Engaging the public. Clear and consistent messaging about the benefits of immigration, coupled with tangible progress on housing and fiscal management, can help shift public sentiment. Engaging with communities and stakeholders will be critical to building trust. What's next for the Trudeau government? The resignations of Chrystia Freeland and Sean Fraser have left the Trudeau government at a crossroads. With key cabinet positions vacant and public confidence waning, the Prime Minister faces a daunting task: rebuilding his team and delivering results on immigration, housing, and economic management. The upcoming months will be critical in shaping the government's legacy. Whether through bold policy changes or strategic compromises, the Trudeau government must navigate this period of turbulence with determination and clarity. Only then can it hope to restore stability and chart a path forward for Canada. As we've seen, the resignations of Chrystia Freeland and Fraser mark a pivotal moment for Canada's Liberal government, leaving critical gaps in leadership during a time of intense public scrutiny. With immigration and housing policies under fire, rising economic pressures, and a fiscal economic statement that raises more questions than answers, Prime Minister Trudeau faces an uphill battle to rebuild his cabinet and restore public trust. But challenges often bring opportunities. How the government addresses these issues in the coming months will shape the future of Canada's economy, housing market, and social policies, and we'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way. Thank you for watching Canada Chronicles. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the stories that matter most to Canadians. And let us know in the comments, how do you think the Trudeau government should handle these challenges? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. See you in the next video.